Understand this. You've heard before that your network equals your net worth. I'm sure you've heard that. Your network equals your net worth. But guess what? It is your self-worth which leads to your network. And it is your self-worth which leads to your net worth. Because if you have a low self-worth, do you really think you are going to take all the opportunities on the table around you? If you see high value people, if you have a low self-worth, will you approach them? Do you believe you have something to give to them? Are you seriously going to make the connections that you want to make if you have a low self-worth? Are you seriously going to keep the connections even if you get introduced? I used to work at PwC, and I was so lucky. My mentor was he's like the head of audit for PwC, global head. So PwC is an audit company. The guy's the global head. It's a big deal, right? I remember there was like a few people assigned to him for him to be the mentor of, and almost no one actually consistently took him up on it. And he used to say to me, "Dim, I'm so." I really appreciate it. Like, you basically see me every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. And I was like, yeah, man, like, I'm so appreciative of this opportunity to get mentored by you. If I could, I'd see you every week, but I don't want to bother you, And I made sure I was checking in with him, getting mentored by him. And a lot of people don't actually have the self-worth to believe that they are enough to take advantage of the connections that are given to them. Right? So I encourage you to think about this. Where is your self-worth at? Because, by the way, if someone gives you $10 million, if your self-worth is not a $10 million person, do you actually think you will hold on to that $10 million? Because I'll show you what real self-worth is, right? If someone was to drop you naked, right, strip away everything from you, strip away everything, your credit cards, your identity, everything from you, and drop you naked in the middle of your city, you will find that within 6 months, you will get back to the position that you're probably in now, which is like the amount that's in your bank account right now, the approximate position you are in your career, like, the influence you make and all these things. You will find a way to get yourself back to where you are now. Why? Because your self-worth and your sense of identity is matched to a certain level, which is the level that you're at. Whereas if you were to drop someone who's like a millionaire or something, even if you stripped away all that person's money and all the blah, 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 if you drop them in the middle with nothing, they're going to find a way to get that $1 million back. And by the way, if you refute that, I think there's a series Grant Cardone did recently. I think it's called Undercover Millionaire or something like that. I'm not sure, but they drop him with like nothing, and then basically it's the same thing. He makes $1 million back. So that's what self-worth is. It's like, the truth is, and maybe you've seen this in previous videos. The truth is, the opportunities are all around us. I play a game in previous videos, right? I encourage you, can you look around for blue right now? We'll just do it right now, real quick. Look around for blue wherever you are. Look around for blue tables, blue pots, blue phones, blue paintings, blue bags, blue people. Look around for blue right now. Blue everywhere you can. Look around for blue. Close your eyes. Tell me what you saw that was gold. You can open your eyes. Can you see more gold this time when you look around? Because get this. You can look this up in the Encyclopedia Britannica, right? There are 11 million bits of information that come to you at any one time, and per second. 11 million bits per second that come to you at any one time. We consciously process 50 out of 11 million bits of information. And that's because our brain deletes, distorts, and generalizes information, based on our sense of ourself, our self-worth, our view of the world. So, for example, if you were to fill in this, I am. the world is, if you were to fill in that blank, the world is, what would you say? The world is. Because get this, just like when you looked around for blue, you see more blue. When you look around for gold, you see more gold. If you believe the world is full of challenges, you're going to see a different world to if you believe that the world is full of opportunity. Right? If your self-worth is that you are a $10 million person, how are you going to show up when you see these networking opportunities? Are you going to feel confident? Are you going to feel like, hey man, I got something to give to this guy, like let's see if we can make a synergy work, right? Or is your self-worth at the point where like, oh man, I got nothing to give, I'm not that great a human being, I'm not that confident, yeah, I'm alright, but yeah, I don't really know what I have to give. I'm going to help you, like, just to complete what I was saying before. Out of that 11 million, your brain deletes, distorts, and generalizes the information to get down to 50 based on your sense of yourself, your view of the world, your values, your focus, your past experiences, your beliefs. Like, based on what you're focusing on, which is basically rooted from your beliefs, and your beliefs are like those things I just mentioned, that changes what you're going to see. So there's 7 billion different people in our world today living in this reality, but the truth is there's 7 billion different realities being lived right now in this second. Depending on those factors, what you're focusing on, what you believe, your sense of your own identity, right? So like, you know, people worry about the metaverse and all these other things. Bro, we're all living in different realities right now. Screw all of that stuff. Let's just get you the money. How about that? Right? Or get you to your goals. Screw all of those distractions. Let's just get you to your goals. How do we do that? We've got to understand, like, number one, where you want to go, and then number two, what's the version of you that's actually capable of achieving that? And then we've got to help you get out of your own way so you can become and develop the mindset of the version of you that's capable of achieving the reality that you want. Because the reality that you currently have, that is created by your current mindset. I hope that makes sense. So, I hope you understand. See, your net worth and your network come from your self-worth. So the game is to help you in a wholesome way increase your self-worth. Because when you think about self-worth, most people are thinking about, like Kanye, right? Like they're thinking about like ego and stuff like that. But there's a different way to have self-worth in a way that it's coming from love and it's very genuine, and you're not trying to put other people down. It's just it's a very wholesome self-esteem. Hope that makes sense. So I want to give you a moment now to just reflect. Where's your self-worth at? Do you believe you're entitled and have something to give and are able to receive? Or do you find when it's game time that you struggle to show up? Have a think about it. Hope you don't mind that I have fun on these videos. Okay, so how do you increase your self-worth? Here's the secret behind all of it. Here's the secret, right? And by the way, if you look at anyone that you look up to, anyone that you admire, any sporting hero, any celebrity, anyone, and any executive at work that you admire, anyone, they're all doing this. Here's the secret. To be your best self, you need to organize and prioritize your life around your highest values. Right? So to be your best self, you need to organize and prioritize your life around your highest values. So what's highest values mean? So I'm not talking about integrity and loyalty and stuff like that. When I say highest values, what I'm talking about is it's the things that naturally light you up. There are things in your life, if you think about your life over the last 10 years, there's things that you can't help but naturally gravitate towards. I have a great friend, and he just can't help it but always be associated with property somehow. He has a bunch of properties himself, but he also like loves working in property sales. He loves property. There are some guys that I work with. You know, I have this incredible, beautiful client of mine he's a head of commercials, which if you're in corporate, you might know what that means. But when we really unpack what is it about his job that really motivates him, he loves physical building things. He doesn't like commercial projects if it's IT. He likes commercial construction projects where it's physically building things. And in a parallel, after work, what he loves to do is work in his garden with his hands. And he likes building greenhouses and building like, I don't know, compost bins and stuff like that. That's him, right? But that's beautiful. Everyone, maybe for you it's music, maybe for you, you know, it could be psychology, maybe for you it's wealth. But my question is, if you really think it's wealth, do you actually spend your time actively, you know, trying to build your wealth? And maybe you do, which is great. But maybe you don't. Maybe you think you want wealth, but the truth is, when it comes to wealth building activities, you can't be hooked with it. And instead, what actually lights you up is riding a BMX bike or doing like physical combat, you know, or whatever that is. But here's the first step. It's understanding what actually lights you up. What actually motivates you? What do you gravitate towards? What do you love speaking about? What goals do you have that actually show evidence of coming true? What do you naturally find you have energy for, and maybe after you finish doing it, you find you have even more energy, right? Like, what are those things in your life? And what I'm going to do in this video is unpack a few questions for you on questions you can ask yourself to help you understand what your values are. Because when you can understand because your values are basically your natural strengths. And I'm not saying you have to leave your job. But here's the thing, here's the thing, here's the thing. When you can appreciate what your natural values are and what you really love, what you got to do is start to prioritize your life around that and declutter out from your life things that you don't really give a fuck about, right? Because when you are doing things that you don't care about, it degrades your sense of purpose and your mission and your sense of worth. But when you do things you naturally love and enjoy, what ends up happening is your confidence increases because you're doing something you naturally love and enjoy. So if there's a challenge, you don't mind the challenge, you embrace it, you grow from it, you become really good at it. So you feel more confident, you feel happier, you feel more energized. You really are showing up as your best self. So a huge key is understanding yourself and understanding your values. And get this, when you understand yourself and your values and you derive a goal or a purpose or a mission, a big one that is inspirational based around these values, then what you've done is you've created a signal into the universe that, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, this is where I'm going. And when you have a clear picture of where you're going, you're going to find things rally around and support you to help you get there. You know, your RAS, like what I said about the blue and the gold, if you know where you're going, you're going to see all the gold along the way that's going to help you actually get there. And as you get there and you become more confident, more driven and more inspired, of course you're going to earn more. But you're going to feel more fulfilled and you're going to impact more, and you're going to influence more. So hopefully I'm making sense. So, here's what it is. In the link below, I normally do one-on-one sessions to in-depth help guys with their values. Now, I'm going to see if I can give a free resource in the link below as well, in the description below. I'll give a link to my calendar as well. But what I want to do in this video is just give you some sincere overview questions for you to just do right now. So here they are. And if you want to take the journey further with me, you can find this stuff in the link below. So here's the questions. Question number 1, I want you to think about time. And I want you to think about legit, on the real, in your waking hours, so not while you're sleeping, right? So you sleep approximately 8 hours a night. But in the 16 hours that you're awake each day, what is the number 1 allocation of your time? What's the number 2 allocation of your time? And what's the number 3 allocation of your time? If you want, pause the video now and think about it and talk it out. Seriously, I'm a good coach. I know what it takes to help guys. My suggestion is to you, pause the video and talk it out with me. Really actively engage. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out of this, okay? So, I reckon your number one use of time is work, right? So what's your number two use of time? And what's your number three? Once you've got the answers for that, here's what I want to offer you about your number one use of time. If your number one use of time is work, what is that really for? And I encourage you to talk, if you're not writing it down, just talk out aloud. Why are you working for? And you might say, oh, to get money. Well, why do you want the money? Why do you want the money? Like, what comes to your mind? Is it a tropical island? Is it motorbikes? Like, is it women? Like, what comes to your mind when you think about getting the money? So what you're trying to do is unpack what you actually love and what you're actually doing all this for, right? So that's the first question. The top three allocations of your time. Number two, I would say, there's 12 of these in total, right? But I'm just gonna give you like 4 or 5. When you think about what energizes you, so think about activities that when you think about them, you get energy, or when you do them, you get energy. Like, you can see for me, when I do YouTube videos talking about personal development, like, I naturally have energy. I don't know if it comes through on the camera, because when you're recording things, like, you actually have to have a lot of energy to just sound normal on the camera. Like, the camera seems to take away like 10% or something like that. But when I coach and when I do anything about personal development, I naturally have energy for it. I'm interested in it. I have more energy, and it keeps me going. So for you, what is it that when you do it, you just naturally have energy for? And it might be like, there's 3 things. So one of them could actually be about your job. Is there a part about your job that you actually just really enjoy? Like, for some people, it might be like networking with people and sales and stuff. For some other people, it might be like specific, like problem solving things. And if so, what is that? Here's the thing. You want to get clearer and clearer and clearer on what is it that specifically energizes you the most. And what's the top 3 things? Right? Number 3, think about the money that you actually spend, right? If you were to look at your bank account, like every month, what are the allocations of your money? Where do they go? If you're anything like some of my other clients, a lot of, usually their money, a big allocation will go to, for example, eating out with friends. And I'll ask, why do you really like doing that? Why do you spend money on that? For some of them, they're going to say, actually, well, I just really love being with my friends and chilling with my friends. For some others, they'll actually say, I really like fine dining. So you want to understand, when you think about the top 3 allocations of your money, why is it that you like spending it there? And the best way to do this is like look at your NetBank app and just like literally look at the top allocations of your money. Sometimes it might surprise you. Maybe the top allocation of your money is actually in investment property. Maybe that's where you put it. Or you put it towards your rent. Okay, well, is that because you like luxe living? Or is it because you living in the particular area makes you closer to certain opportunities? So I hope I'm not losing you here, right? But like, we went through, I think we went through energy, we went through time, energy, and we went through money. So let's talk about one more. How about, if you look, what we're doing is we're examining dimensions in the universe, right? Time, energy, money, which is energy, space. So let's think about space. What are the things that you naturally gravitate towards? So, for example, if you look at your life over the last 10 years, are there like common themes that you seem to naturally gravitate towards? Do you gravitate towards sports a lot? Do you like physical stuff? Do you gravitate towards IT a lot? Like, what do you gravitate towards? What do you tend to always end up getting back towards? And here's the last one. What goals have you set over the last like 5 years which are showing evidence of coming true? Like, what goals have you set which actually show evidence? Like, so it's what do you think about, and then actually you see it coming into life. What's the top 3 things there? And let me just give you one bonus one. What do you like to talk about? What do you like to bring conversations back to? If you look at the last couple of years of your life, is there something that you always seem to want to talk about? Do you like actually talking about wealth? Do you like talking about fitness? Do you like talking about nature? Like, what do you like to talk about? So what energizes you? What do you like to talk about? What do you set goals around that actually you achieve? What do you gravitate towards, and what do you spend your time on? Here's the thing. When you can understand like what you really love and you can identify them, then I want you to think of that as like an ember. If you know Tom Bilyeu, Impact Theory, Tom Bilyeu, he has a show called Impact Theory, and he built Quest Nutrition, the Quest protein bars. I was lucky enough to have dinner with this guy a couple of years ago. And I spoke to Tommy about this. And here's what he said. He's like, Dim, I call it turning embers into flames. So what we just did then was we got some embers out, some little specks of gold for you, right? What we got to do is turn these embers into flames. Now, how do you turn those embers into flames? We got to start to breathe life into it. Just like you blow on the embers and with the kindling and it actually ignites. In the same way, with these embers, we would need to breathe life into it for them to become more real. Because think about this. Let's say that in this video right now, you decided to start to act on the energy of anger, right? Let's say you start to act angry right now, and then later you spent the rest, after this video is over, you spent the rest of the day being angry, and then tomorrow you woke up and you stayed angry for that whole day, and then for the next 2 weeks you just decided to be angry for 2 weeks. Would you agree in 2 weeks' time your life would be a pretty angry place? So in the same way, when you think about your purpose or your values, right? The way to create a life where you're living more in your purpose, the way to do that is you got to look at your current value. Like when you understand, your current values through this process I just shared, you want to start to slowly do them more in your life, like bring them more into the light and do them more consciously, right? And try to stop or cut down doing the things that you don't care about that much. Because the more you allow yourself to do what you really enjoy, the more happier you'll be, the more confident you'll be, the more fulfilled you'll be, the more driven you will be, motivated you will be, because you're organizing your life more and more and more around things that you naturally love. And when you can show up as the best version of you, the more you show up as the best version of you, you already know it. The more you're going to earn, the more you're going to influence, the more confident you'll feel, the more entitled you'll feel to speak up instead of shying away. This is what starts to happen. You're going to start to believe that you're worth a damn, because finally you're prioritizing yourself. So the last part of knowing yourself is really when you start to, and you might have to revisit this video, but when you start to unpack what it is that you really enjoy, it's then creating a timeless or inspirational purpose or inspirational mission around these things, goals around them. Like, where can you be in 5 years? What could life be like in 5 years for you if you embodied more and more and more of these values? If you were to create a life around your values, where would you be in 5 years? And create a vision for yourself like that. Because when you can create a vision for yourself like that, it gives you something, a reason to do everything for. And you're going to start to see all the gold along the way that's going to help you get there. That's the secret. And that's when you see those driven, inspirational guys, they're all underpinned with a mission. From like a masculine, feminine perspective, masculine energy is all about direction. There's a direction, there's a focus, and there's boundaries, and it's going that way. And if you're lacking a sense of purpose, you're going to feel that sense of lacking in your masculinity or in kind of how you show up. And it usually reflects in relationships too. So what you want to do is understand your values and create a mission or a purpose around those values. If you would like extra help with this, as I said, I'm gonna drop something in the description. Potentially, yeah, like depending on my schedule and all that, I'll have to check. Maybe I can put a link in so we can check if you want me to take you through this process in a coaching session. But regardless of that, I hope just with what I shared, you can unpack and understand what your values are, and from there you can create a purpose and a mission and start to align your life around that. And I can tell you, the more you do that, the more magnetic you'll be, the more driven you'll be, the more inspired you'll be, and the more people will want to rally around you and support you, and the more opportunities you will take because you've got something greater than that you're fighting for. So I hope that helps. I wish you more wealth in your life in whatever area is meaningful to you. Thanks for watching. Please, please, please share this video. It's no fun unless the friends can have some too. It's no fun unless we can all win together. And I share these videos because I want us to all win together. I don't want to be on a boat party by myself. I want to be there with my friends. So please share this video and let's all win together. All right. Thanks. See you in the next one.